I decided to do another video with a recipe. So today I have got a recipe from a much loved book, Kitchen, Nigella Lawson. Oh, wow, saucy. And we are going to, or I am, you can if you want to. If you don't want to, just turn it off. It's fine. I'm going to make that, well, she calls them chocolate chip cookies, but I like to be a bit of a maverick about it, and I don't like to put chocolate chips in. I like to think about who I'm baking them for and then use 2 or 3 of their favourite chocolate bars to put inside instead of chocolate chips. So that is what we're doing today. What I'm doing today. I'm talking in the royal we, which is a bit pathetic. I've been alone for too long. So the first thing to do is preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius, and I've then put 150 grams of unsalted butter on a low temperature on the hob just to melt, because we want it to be melted. While that's doing, I'm going to chop up my chocolate, which you obviously wouldn't have to do if you wanted to just use chocolate chips, which is perfectly fine. I always like to put in something caramelly, because when it's in the oven the caramel kind of melts down and you get little crispy bits. And today I've also gone for white chocolate, yum. And then instead of, I do like to just have some chocolate in there because I just think chocolate is good, just plain chocolate. However, you could just use chocolate chips, as I said, but I think big chunks of dairy milk is probably going to win over chocolate chips for me. And then you can decide how chunky or small you want the pieces to be. So the recipe says 326 grams of chocolate chips, which is quite specific. So just use a kind of equivalent weight of your chosen chocolate bars, or you could use raisins, you could add nuts in, add whatever you fancy. So the butter is melted and it's been cooling for about 10 minutes now. And what I've got in this bowl is 125 grams of soft brown sugar and 100 grams of caster sugar. And when the butter's just slightly cooler, because you don't want it to melt any of the sugars yet, then you just pour it in and give everything a good mix. The next step is to add 1 cold egg and 1 cold egg yolk, and then give it another bash. This is another reason that you didn't want your butter to be hot, because you don't want scrambled eggs. So I've separated my yolk, and then you just give it a good. And you need to beat this until it's a bit pale and quite creamy looking. But it shouldn't take long, it doesn't require a lot of work. And then you want to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I've only got a little bit, so I'm just going to finish the bottle. And then you just give that a beat in as well. 300 grams of plain flour and half a teaspoon of bicarb of soda, but you need to add it in small batches. Again, like the brownies last week, just add in a little bit at a time, but you don't need to worry about folding, you can just bash it in. So I'm going to do it in 2 lots. And then just give it a mix. So that's all mixed in now, and as you can see, it looks quite cookie dough like. And what you then want to do is add in all your chosen chocolate or fruit or nuts. I should have mentioned before, if you like peanut butter, Reese's cups, yes, this works so well with Reese's cups. It's quite a lot of chocolate, but it's delicious, so don't worry about it. The only thing is, if you've used Cadbury caramel or any kind of caramel chocolate bar like I have, you just need to be aware that you probably need to just separate it out a bit, because once you've chopped it, it gets a bit stuck together and you don't want all your caramel in one cookie. Well, you might do. I'm not judging. Okay. Sticky. I definitely didn't eat any of the chocolate as I was chopping. And then you just need to mix it all in until it's evenly distributed. It's quite a tough dough, but that's fine because you want cookie dough to be quite tough. One of the main reasons that I chose this recipe today was because speaking to friends and family this week, I think a lot of people have had a bit of a stressful, wobbly week, and nothing is better than a warm cookie from the oven, especially if you can choose what you want to put inside it. So this is a really good thing to make for your loved ones or for yourself. And another fantastic thing about this is something good about living on your own, is you don't have to cook it all now. And what I will do is half of the mix I'm going to roll into balls and put into freezer bags, and then if ever I feel like I just want 1 or 2 cookies, I can take it out and put them straight in the oven, and then I've got hot cookies. So it's a win-win. So that is what I'm going to do. So that is all now lovely and mixed in. Obviously I just have to give it a little sample. It's not poisonous, so we're good to go. Okay, no more. So all you need to do is just grab a small handful of the dough, roll it in your hands, and then put them on a baking sheet. Give them a lot of space. Don't crowd them too close together because they are just gonna melt out and become massive, delicious cookies. And the preheated oven, 170 degrees, we're gonna put them in the oven now for 15 to 17 minutes. So keep an eye because they do cook quite quickly. So I've rolled the rest of it up. This batch makes about 14 cookies. I've got 15 out of it. Hooray! And this is my freezer bag of joy. I'm gonna put that in my freezer. So you don't have to cook them all in one go. And what you just need to do is cook them for 2 or 3 minutes longer if you are freezing them. So, hooray! They are out of the oven. You need to let them sit on the tray for about 5 minutes because otherwise they will just break as soon as you take them off, because the butter's soft and the sugar's soft, they'll just fall apart. So let them sit there for 5 minutes on the tray and then transfer them to a cooling rack and eat them whenever you fancy.